Deputy Speaker. And as we've just heard from members in the House today about the rise of scams and the devastating impact it has on individuals. Across my electorate of Fowler, and as we've heard across the country, we are hearing about people falling victims to phishing and spoofing scams, with scammers impersonating organisations such as banks and providers to access their money and stealing their identities. Some of the stories are just horrific. A constituent came to see me distressed she's lost $50,000 from her shared bank account with her family. This was her whole life savings gone. As you can imagine, this financial setback left her in significant mental distress and psychological anguish as she struggled to find support and plan forward. Another constituent was scammed out of $49,000, which was intended to be used for a knee replacement surgery for her mum. We are talking about people who worked so hard to save this kind of money, and suddenly it's all gone. Not only did this constituent lose her money, but it also impacted her ability to work due to mental stress, as you can only imagine the shock. In addition, she didn't know where to turn to, and there was limited support to recall these funds, which left her so overwhelmingly troubled and plagued with uncertainty. A Vietnamese-speaking constituent requested assistance after losing $200,000 from her joint bank account with her husband. She was distraught and contacted our office daily, seeking updates and further information. In aiding and facilitating communication between the constituent and the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, our office had to provide translation of the responses since she was unable to read and understand them herself. Deputy Speaker, these stories are just a few I want to share, but there are hundreds, if not thousands more, that they're now becoming so normal, it's scary. How can we trust to share our information with institutions or to put our money in banks if these scam stories are popping up daily? Even on my own phone, I get text messages from strange mobile numbers asking me to click on links, either because so-called Australia Post has failed to deliver a parcel or that I had failed to pay my toll linked-in account. And in my Fowler electorate, home to more than 170,000 constituents with over 150 ethnicities, my constituents are becoming highly susceptible to fraud and spoofing scams. Therefore, I strongly call on the government to ensure that customised assistance and financial education be made available to non-English communities. With the cost of living crisis, many constituents in my area are desperate to get out of debts and alleviate their financial burdens. Much of the Fowler area falls within the first quintile of the Index of Relative Socioeconomic Disadvantage, the lowest score, which indicates that the suburbs in Fowler are more disadvantaged and vulnerable to the cost of living pressures compared to other electorates. Many scammers exploit this vulnerability and target individuals seeking relief from the rising cost of bills. I have raised my concerns with the Assistant Treasurer and Minister for Financial Services on the need to tighten our privacy laws to prevent or at least de-escalate the rise in scams. In particular, how our personal data is harvested and sold onto third parties. I want to thank the Minister for his time and engage with me on the matter, especially when it comes to providing assistance to our culturally and linguistically diverse communities. I also recognise the National Anti-Scam Centre has made significant strides in collaborating with law enforcement, governments and consumer groups to combat scams in Australia. I acknowledge that the National Anti-Scam Centre is a substantial step forward to addressing the gaps of protecting individuals from scammers. However, I must point out that there are still shortcomings regarding the language component. These scams are becoming more of a prominent presence in my Fowler community, and with our demographic mostly consisting of non-English speaking migrants, actions must be undertaken to reduce the barriers to accessibility, starting with addressing the linguistic challenges. And as long as I'm in this House, Deputy Speaker, I will continue to work and advocate for a stronger focus on providing in-language assistance to those that struggle with understanding English, especially when it comes to our legislations. I emphasise that there must be a focus on inclusivity in education and awareness of emerging scams be available and accessible to both English and non-English speaking citizens. It is my belief that if this pain point is adequately addressed, constituents in my area will be better protected from scammers seeking to exploit them. Thank you.
I thank the member